Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, Portfolio Manager at Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, August 19th, 5:05 p.m., coming to you from Vienna, Virginia, with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. This will be my last video in Vienna, Virginia, as I head up to the Big Apple, New York City, this Saturday. So if you're a client and you want to meet up, grab some dinner, some drinks, definitely email me at ted@revereasset.com or DM me on Twitter. So stay in the market. We're still in uptrend. We're still looking at four coveted green arrows, but after today's action, we have a yellow sub arrow on market leaders. As you can see, looking over at the daily summary, we saw broad selling at AI data center names, 21 over 21 list down 3.92%, only two stocks up, 19 down. Turbo 12 down 6.96%, all 12 stocks are down. Big 8 down 1.47%, RG8 down 1.68%, SP 500 down 0.59%, RSP up 0.47%. As you can see, there's a rotation of value, and we'll see that in SPY G versus SPY V. Q's up 1.36%, Q's down 1.36%, QQEW down 0.59%, Dow Jones up 0.02%, mid caps up 0.18%, small caps down 0.78%, global 60/40 equities bonds down 0.26%, GROTECTION down 1.56%, and Turbo down 2.67%. All right, so jumping right into chart S&P 500, we saw another distribution day close below the 8 EMA today. Look at the 5-minute. We got down, actually broke the opening range highs. Looks strong, but we did have some news about Atlanta Fed GDP come in, as well as Meta restructuring their AI teams and actually letting go of some executives, and that led to a trend down day. So look at the SPY G, was down 1.24% today, and SPY V is actually up 0.2% today. So you can see that rotation. Onto RSP, you can see that reflected in the equal weighted index. RSP actually saw an accumulation day, up on volume, up 47 basis points out of this mini flag here. Q's, tech heavy sector, broke the 8, closed right on the 21, another distribution day. So we're having a group of distribution days in the last few weeks. The equal weighted, also distribution day, broke the 8 EMA, 21 EMA, and 50-day moving average. Really, the concern here from a lot of investors is that has AI been hyped up too much? Are the valuations stretched? We are seeing PEs around the .com era, and the key question is AI actually going to translate into corporate earnings right now, or is generative AI just flashy, cool, but not actually translating into increased productivity and the bottom line? Dow Jones poking its head out again, but closed at the lows end of the range. Mid caps, let's go to intraday. We also saw a strong move from mid caps, but faded to the lows of the day as well. Russell, same thing. We broke the super tight range of the early 30 minutes. Looked extremely strong here, and also just saw a failed breakout over previous high of the day and closed at the lows, seeing a bearish engulfing right at the 8 EMA. So still fine action there. Next, back over 15, but no spike really yet. Dollar poking its head back above the 50-day moving average and the 8 and 21. So this is definitely something to watch, as we failed at this 100 level previously. Gold starting to leak off here below the 8, 21, and 50-day moving averages. Power of 3 to the downside now. This 300 level is a big support level for gold. Silver, wedge drop, back to the 50-day moving average on volume. Let's see if we build higher lows here, or if silver breaks the 10-week and pulls back further. Bitcoin, as I mentioned on the last time I did the video, we saw a failed breakout over 125,000, and this so far has leaked back to the lows end of the range. But as of now, we're still holding. As long as we're above the 112,000 level. All is well, although we are seeing weaker action. The weekly, we're sitting right on the 10-week moving average now, so this really needs to hold. So let's see what happens. As of now, we're still building higher lows in spot Bitcoin. In IBIT, we actually undercut and reclaimed this August 5th low, and we closed just below the 50-day, but we're holding this 63.74 breakout level. So this could just turn into a potential double bottom base with a higher pivot, a sloppier filled breakout. We'll see what happens here. Ethereum, really just perfect action still. Rejected previous all-time highs and really just pulling back to the multi-year level of 4,100. So nothing wrong as it's super extended out of this base. So finally, bonds. Really no movement today. 2 years down 1.5 basis points at 3.75%. Let's look at the probabilities of a rate cut real quick. Sitting at 85% for September, down from 100%. So that has led to some weakness as well. 10 years down 2.5 basis points at 4.31%. One thing I do want to mention is that corporate credit, HYG, high yield bonds, super tight, not weak, and extremely strong, looking to break out this huge base. Same with junk bonds and corporate bonds. So that's always a good sign when the credit markets are strong and we're not seeing credit pull back. So that being said, that is it for the tail of the tape. That is it for the inter-asset correlation section of the video. Now on to the tail of the tape. Already covered the VIX. CNN fear and greed pulled back 4 points to 60, but still in greedy territory. We're still operating under the bull case with all 6 major indexes above the 21 EMA. News today, GDP revised down by the Atlanta Fed, although it was minuscule, 0.2% for the next quarter. And the Meta restructure AI division caused some further weakness in AI data center names. And because AI data center names are really just many of the big 10 in S&P and the NASDAQ, that caused some weakness around the markets, and especially in leaders, which really is dominated by the AI names. Today's keys, we're watching S&P versus 6,400 to 6,500 range. We closed in the middle of that, but towards the lower ends. Qs versus 575 and 583. We closed below that range. And the Russell, we closed above the 21 EMA, but below 23.29. Day count up 2 consolidation, 3 to down 1. 1 day below the 8 EMA, 11 days above the 21 EMA. Short-term expectations are still positive. Actually, this might be 12 days above. And looking at strong sectors, bonds were up with the yields down, dollars up, real estate, utilities, staples, and home builders. On the downside, tech, communications, uranium, Bitcoin and miners, ARK, and semis. In GROTECTION, we sold GEV and SSO, trimmed Palantir, Hood, and Ethereum, and we'll go over that one by one. GEV broke the 21 EMA, got rid of that. SSO, I apologize, I spelled it SOO, but it's actually SSO, and I'll change that later on. Broke the 8 EMA, technically a failed breakout out of this shelf, so we closed that. Palantir, just a huge break below the 21 EMA, trimmed it. Hood, bearish engulfing, and Ethereum broke the 8, but finding support at the previous left side peak. 1.10 beta, 4.3% open heat. In Turbo, we added to Tesla, although it did reverse on us. We were looking at this 5-minute opening range break over that previous high of the day. It was looking great, but ended up reversing on us, but still sitting on the stack of the moving averages. Second thing we added was that TNA, which also got baited into. It looked really good out of this tight range above previous high of the day in this flag here. But again, bearish reversal and sitting back at its own 200-day moving average. IWM still looks great. Really just sitting at the 8 EMA and the base highs. On the trim side, we trimmed Hood like Dawn, and we also sold Soon. This one has been quite disappointing. Really a great earnings move, 4 days up, but completely has faded the move, even though on lower than average volume, but we just can't let a great winner become a loser. So we cut it there, even though it's just back to the 21 EMA. 2.00 beta, 3.7% open heat. Bottom line, broad selling and AI data center names. Tomorrow's keys are still watching the same. The range 6,400 to 6,500, Qs 575, 583, and then the Russell 21 EMA in this 2329 area. So with that being said, we already talked about the divergences of SPY G and SPY V. Let's look at NVIDIA, the first culprit. First break and close below 21 EMA since this move started in early May. So it's been 3 months now. Typically, that 3-month period is around the times that a stock can hold a 21 EMA. Leading AI data center name, breaking the 21. Palantir, breaking the 21 EMA as well. CRDO, huge selling, breaking and closing below the 21 EMA for the first time since the start of the move as well. Oracle, breaking the 21 EMA for the first time since the start of the move as well. Meta, breaking the 21 EMA. TSM, breaking the 21 EMA back to the 50. And Avgo, also breaking the 21 EMA since the start of the move began. So you can see broad selling AI data center names, especially the leading ones, and that caused a lot of weakness in our 21 over 21 and Turbo 12 lists. So to not go over completely everything, we'll go over the two names that stay positive. Interest rate sensitive name RKT held the 8 EMA and closed high of the day. SC International name continues to float higher after the earnings gap. But on the downside, CRDO we just covered. First close below the 21 EMA. Palantir, same thing. Trim that. A-Lab. Looking to see if we can hold 160. First close below the 8 EMA in a few weeks. Hood, bearish reversal, engulfing, and closed just a tad above the 8 EMA. SoFi, bearish engulfing as well on volume. App, broke back into the base, closed right at the 21 EMA. Reddit, first break of the 8 EMA since the gap. AMD, broke and closed below the 21 EMA. Carvana, reversed, closed above the 50, but below the 21. MP, back to the 21 EMA. Turbo 12, on the downside soon. We already talked about this, stopped at even. Herein, reversed, but still closed right at the 8 EMA. It's just a volatile one. RGTI cracks the 8 and the 21, closing below the 21. AMSC breaks the 21 EMA after flagging after its earnings gap. See if you can hold the gap. METC failed breakout above 25, closed below the 21 EMA. KTOS, aerospace and defense name, broke out this flag, now broke below the 8 EMA. TEM broke out the base, but back in. This one has been the choppy one, continues to be. Webull cracks the 21 EMA. Hinge breaks 21 EMA, but actually closes near highs of the day. HSI closes lows of the day. Inside day, which still looks fine. Decent earnings as well. And still above 25. So with that being said, you can see there's broad selling in our leaders list. That's why we added the yellow sub arrow. The S&P closed below 8 EMA, but above the 21. The NASDAQ closed below 8 as well and above the 21. And we saw many leaders that held their 21 EMAs for multiple months close below. So those are all some warning signs from the market. Crypto's weak as well. But ETH is just a normal pullback. Bitcoin's a little more concerning. And with that said, I'm going to wrap it up for today's video. If you're interested in becoming a client or have any questions, you can email me at ted@revereasset.com. My Twitter X is Ted H. Zhang. Our phone is 855-REAL-WEALTH. That is 855-732-5932. Our website is revereasset.com, and we're at Revere Asset on YouTube, X, Instagram, and TikTok. If you enjoy our content or find it valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. With that being said, this is Ted Zhang with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your day.